It takes a big person to admit that they were wrong. We are not that person, but for this video, we may make an exception. When we first decided to check out Perk Boyer Lookout, we thought it would be a very ordinary destination, not worthy of a YouTube video. We were wrong. We were very wrong. So what made us think that it was going to be a lackluster destination? And what changed our mind? And would we recommend this destination to others? Let's find out. With tracks that are not for the faint-hearted, we once again learnt a lesson on why you should come prepared. A lesson that we should have learned many times before, but it never really seems to stick. Located approximately 85 kilometres or 1 hour from Melbourne, it is close enough for a day or weekend trip to see what all the fuss is about. Now, we tried to research what to expect, however, there seems to be very little information out there. A quick look at the wiki page and Parks Victoria page will give you about a paragraph each, with no real useful information. We entered Cobaw State Forest via the Burke and Wheels track. This was all confirming to us that there might not be much adventure in store. Despite the road being called a track, it was a beautiful sealed road that would give most city roads a run for their money. After about 5 or so minutes, we came across the natives track. It was nice that the tracks were not closed for the season. Plus, how bad can this be? It was at this stage we decided to set up the camera, as we know a good time when we see it. Not expecting much, we didn't pack a heap of recovery gear. Up until now, we were thinking that these are some nice, easy beginner tracks, and we only let a little air out of the tyres. As we made our way down the track, the challenges were starting to pile up. The first of the bigger challenge being this little dip. Trying to avoid damage, we opted for the chicken run around it. Turns out it wasn't that much of a chicken run. Now, experience would tell us at this stage we should let more air out of our tyres. Laziness kicked in, and with a "she'll be right" attitude, we pushed on. Coming up to a crossroads, we were left with only 2 options: go back or continue left onto the link track. Once again, the "how bad can it be" came into play, and we pushed on. The other 2 ways on the crossroad were out due to fallen trees. We did discuss what to take before we left home, and the chainsaw didn't make the list. The obstacles kept coming, with some massive ruts opening up in front of us. We opted for the chicken run wherever possible, although, like me, it didn't come without its own issues. We came up to a section where there was a fallen tree that cut off the main track and a massive rock that made the track quite tight. We could have turned back at this stage, but we were not about to miss the opportunity to go through a tight gap. Although care needed to be taken as there were obvious marks from people hitting the tree, and we didn't want to add to that. Plus, how bad could it be? Surely this is the worst of it. After a little repositioning, we found the right angle to attack this gap and made it through unscathed. Good thing the subscribe button is easy to get to. Please give it a tap. It will help us get over some hurdles. The next obstacle came in the form of some deep ruts. We were closer to the end than the beginning, with about 1.3 kilometres behind us and only 1 kilometre to the end. We found ourselves constantly saying, "How bad can it get?" Or, "Surely we're through the worst of it now." Once again, balancing the car on the edge of the ruts, hoping not to slide in the wrong direction, we carefully navigated the path. And again, we choose the chicken run where possible. Can we take the opportunity to say that a white car is a great colour to get if you plan to go off-road? If you look carefully, you can see a heap of pinstriping on the side of the car. However, due to the white, it blends in. With less than 350 metres to the end, we thought we were on the home stretch. We could not have been more wrong. We scouted the track and determined that other than the entry, there would only be one more obstacle that we should be able to drive. We were so close to the end, and the poor decisions were still coming hard and fast. It took some careful manoeuvring to get onto the final leg of the track, with troubles just beginning. We had a little bump up and made our way to the top. About halfway up there was a fallen tree and a few big rocks in the way. Trying the left side first with no avail, it only made sense to try and avoid the obstacle on the right. There was no grip to find, and we all know how important grip is. So We weren't stuck, but we didn't want to go all the way back either, knowing how close to the end we were. And we like a strong finish. We didn't want to thrash the car or risk damage, although we did get a couple of little bumps and scrapes.
This way a bit.
There were still options for us. We could have deflated the tyres more, we could have taken out the recovery tracks, or we could have come back the way we came. After a little trying and planning, we decided to go with the winch recovery. We removed the hook off the winch and used soft shackles, as we didn't have much faith in the hook. There were plenty of trees to go off, and we did bring enough recovery items to do this. We chose a tree that was close to us, as we didn't want to slide into the rock on the right, but we ended up sliding a little to the left. After a quick reset, we had the entire length out, and we needed every inch, as the winch extension didn't make the list either. The winch made short work of the task, with a little help from the accelerator. At this stage, the winch has paid for itself. After a slippery and muddy incline for the last 100 or so metres, we finished the track and headed up to the Perkboya lookout. This track was far more accessible, where any four-wheel drive should be able to get up in the condition it was in. With the heap of tracks we still haven't explored, you can guarantee we will be back, just a little better prepared. Like and subscribe so you don't miss future adventures, and feel free to say hi if you see us out there. Thanks for watching.